Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now I am going to talk about my research. After letting you know about the background of the Haroof Muaqtaat, I shall explain my research and tell what is the basic difference between my research and the research carried on by early scholars. In the background of these studies, I made a linguistic study of the Haroof Muaqtaat. Linguistic study would mean that I have studied it from a language point of view, that I have studied the chapters or the surahs word by word, line by line, sound by sound, meaning by meaning, theme, style, everything in relationship to these letters. And this is for the first time that such a study has been carried out, not to mention that a doctoral research was conducted on this topic at the International University Islamabad and University of London, where the pilot project of this study was conducted at the MA level. So, the linguistic text study, the hypothesis was there is something linguistic in it. That means that there is some relationship between these letters and the language of the chapters. This was a unique hypothesis to begin with, that these letters relate to language and therefore their solution must be linguistic. The consideration led to the close study of the text. Now, our first task was to devise a formula which could be applied to all the chapters. It's very interesting because we needed a uniform approach which could explain from Alif Lam Mim to Alif Lam Ra to Ha Mim to Kaf Ha Ya Ain Sad to Sad to Noon to Qaf, all. So we needed one formula. So we are not initially explaining letter, we are first of all explaining the formula, and this is very important and very interesting. So at the end of this lecture, you would know the basic formula that is working in all the chapters, and we will apply the formula without any exception. So this is for the first time that instead of guessing about a letter here and a letter there, we are giving a formula. So the first thing that we made was that we needed a procedure to explain how we were going about it. So as a teacher of linguistics and as a student of Quran, first thing was that we make a linguistic study of the whole text of a certain chapter. So first of all, we made the study of sounds. For example, if we are studying Qaf, then we will be studying Qa sound. If we are studying Alif Lam Mim, then we will be studying A, La, Ma sound. If we are studying Sad, then we will be studying the Sa sound. If we are studying Alif Lam Ra, then we will be studying Al-A, La, Ra sound. This was the first aspect. Then we went to the next step and was that we studied the words made by these letters. For example, if we are talking of Alif Lam Mim, then we will study all those words which have Alif Lam Mim in them. They may be combined with other words or with other letters, and they may not be combined with other letters, as I will give you the examples later. So these were called morphemes. Then we looked at templates. Templates of these sounds, for example, alam, alim, almal, alam, all such words. So and the next stage was to go for cohesion, how the words are related by sound, by sense, and if they are related by sense, then we were studying the coherence. If we are studying the sounds or any other reference, the cohesion. So ultimately we went to the theme and style of the whole chapter. So we went by a certain procedure, and that procedure was to collect data. To collect data, to analyze data, to study it further, to come to some conclusions and to present the results. So it was a very scientific approach and it was a serious study. Then we tested the data. We tested the data by comparing and contrasting. There are certain results. If we get those results for Alif Lam Mim, so same results should not be there for Alif Lam Ra. The formula is the same, but for something which is followed by Alif Lam Mim should not be followed by Alif Lam Ra. That was the main difference. Another was that if we are studying the patterns in Alif Lam Mim, then they should not be found in Qaf. And if it is found in Qaf, those should not be found in Noon. That was something very interesting to test. So we did the testing also. Then we compared the results of different graphs and different tables and came out with our conclusions. Those conclusions can be studied in the research papers, but what I mean to say or what I mean to tell here is that there is a proper basis for our work. It is not just guess. It is not just a whimsical study or not just a thought presented here, but based on a research work that can be studied in the library, and the book is also available. Here, that point which I am going to make is that when we made a survey and when we compared the Alif Lam Mim and Alif Lam Ra, we came to know that the Alif Lam Ra chapters, they contain the Rabbul Alameen. The Rabbul Alameen and the Rusul more than other chapters. So there was an indication that the Ra actually stands for Rusul and Rabb. And this was the first that we could find from these two chapters. So the point was that we made the basic distinction between Alif Lam Mim and Alif Lam Ra, and such a distinction had never been made before. So we will present the more details in another video. So far I am going to make this point that we were the first to make a clear distinction between Alif Lam Mim chapters and Alif Lam Ra chapters. Thank you very much.